Casey's going to break down some numbers for us now from Votecast.
Yeah, I'm really interested in what you guys at the desk make of these numbers. United States elections are so much about turnout, and out of the AP Votecast survey, we're getting a bit of a sense, at least from that poll, of what is the electorate, who has voted in this election. First, let me take you to the turnout for different age groups. Let me just show you. So each of the rows in this graphic is a different age group. The first column of the numbers there, that is the 2020 turnout for, that is the share of the electorate that voted in 2020. The next column is 2024. So 13% of 18 to 29-year-olds said they voted in 2020. It's now 16%, so up 3 points. We're seeing an increase in the share of the electorate among 30 to 44-year-olds of 2 points, and a decrease among older age groups. So AP Votecast is suggesting that this year's electorate is younger than it was 4 years ago. We also have a breakdown by gender. Men are a little bit less likely to vote in this election than 4 years ago. Women marginally more likely. So we're seeing a small increase from the electorate of 53% women 4 years ago to 54% in 2024, so up by 1 percentage point. A younger electorate and a marginally more female electorate this year.
Nick, what impact will this data have on today, do you think?
I think the problem with looking at comparisons between this election and last election, the last election on turnout was so weird and wacky because of COVID, and we saw a level of turnout that was historically super high. So probably the comparison, the more accurate comparison to look at is actually between 2024 and 2016. Because those figures in 2020 were kind of artificially inflated by COVID. So, you know, the turnout figures, I mean, the thing that comes across obviously is the increase in female voters. I mean, that will be good news to the Harris campaign.
Do you look at that as well, Nick, and think 45 to 64, they're just tired? They're just over it.
Yeah, right.
And then you look at the younger ones and you think, Taylor Swift.
Yeah,
She told them to get out, and there they are. But that is interesting in the number of younger people. That's a significant bump.
It is, but you know what also fascinates me is that, you know, I tend to think of, oh, they're younger, they're going to be more liberal than their parents. But that's not necessarily the case.
For the women, it's the case. For sure.
Yes, you're
but
right.
Not for the young men. Yes.
Yes, exactly. So we see that divide. We see a gender divide between young women who are tending to vote Democratic, young men, Gen Z, who are more conservative. But then I give you the older voters, right? So I think it's partly about the abortion issue for sure. But the reality is we forget that, you know, every age group ages up, right? These are the boomers. So they started liberal and they've stayed liberal. They're just older. So suddenly you've got the boomers who are up there in their 60s and they're still the same people that they were, you know, 20, 30, 40 years ago. So there's these kind of generational changes, and we do know that older voters vote more reliably than younger voters. But I do think that the numbers that we saw out of Florida are interesting. So are we seeing a sign that that Latino vote that is much larger than it was is shifting? That's going to be very interesting.